Okay, you hang around for a number of minutes, kind of watching as things play out, and within a couple minutes, you see that a large number of the werewolves are dead, but the Technocracy Flyer has also been grounded, and the Technocrats are now basically stationary, using it as cover as they're fighting.
Okay. I'll like move up and move the wall of force with me to that location and then use it to protect one of the guys and I'll just be behind the Apache. And, like duck down as low as
So
possible
you're actually
so
moving
someone
into
can
there
get me.
with them.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a dodge roll.
Okay. Which would be dexterity athletics, correct?
That's right.
Alrighty. Difficulty and DP.
Let's just see. Difficulty is going to be 6, DP 0.
Alright. Four successes. Nice.
Very nice. You managed to get out of the way of a number of bolts and or claws as you make your way towards there. Um, and you get in there with them, and they don't really ask that many questions at first because they're fighting for their lives.
Oh yeah, this is not really a time to have fun.
And then give me 3 more dodge rolls, all of them at 0 and 6.
Alright. It's like what I'm doing right now. Like, go fuck me.
The sound you did make when you were supposed to brace yourself for fire attacks was.
You hold out for a couple more minutes until you do finally end up taking a claw. So you can go ahead and roll your soak.
Alright. Soak.
Stamina plus armor.
I think it does it automatically DP.
DP is 7.
Okay. Would burst of energy help me here?
No.
Okay. Sorry, you said DP's.
DP 0.
Okay. It didn't ask me to put in a difficulty, so that would just be a
That
one.
no, sorry, it puts in a 6 standard for that if you do the actual soak roll.
Okay, so it'd just be one success then.
Yep. Oh shit, and their claws do aggravate it here.
They do stub my shield up. And loose forces, so it like slow the rate of their attack or
Yeah, I
something.
mean, it should like kind of stop them from being hitting, right?
Well,
It's
no, actually, the rolls that I had done there was to see if there was ever an attack that got around the shield, and then there
Okay.
was
the shield's
one.
here, and they were like, well, we can just do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this it's a 3D plane, dude. I'll just go above your shield.
Ooh. Uh, yeah, he mauled you for 5 aggravated damage.
Does that replace the lethal, or how does that work?
No, it would go for the levels down after lethal.
Okay.
I'm incapacitated. Yeah, I'm down.
Oh.
That dropped me. I mean, that must have shot him right in my fucking gutter. Son of a bitch.
Ooh.
You're not dead though.
No, I'm not dead. I'm
Yeah,
just
nice.
incapacitated.
Yeah, just bleeding out, not dead.
It's
I'd probably like fall back and like near one of the guys and try and get like away of like I don't know, try fucking screaming as hell as all hell.
one of them actually runs over to you. One of them actually shouts for a medic, and another one kind of leans over on top of you and says, "It's all right. We'll get you out of here." And
Why did I just pass out?
he slams a device of some kind onto your chest, and you feel a jolt of energy, and then you pass out. And then we'll cut back to everyone else.
So there's chaos. It's going on in the background, and it's just an instant scene flip, and everyone else is standing around like.
Yeah, we're like watching a pixelated little fight of like small.
Well, no, none of you have any idea of any of this.
No, we're just watching a phone and still like locked, so you know, and wait to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand there. It's like you did nothing.
I'm like picking dirt out of my nails.
Doc, you there?
Okay. Now I'm back.
So Doc, while Sigurd's dying, we are trying to figure out another way to contact Sandra without going through phone or computers.
Okay.
Go ahead, fix it for us. No pressure.
I yell at my phone. Hello, Sandra. Can you hear me?
That
Try
Sigurd's
that.
in the phone. Like yeah, he went in the phone and he's trying to contact her there. I'm asking you if you know another way that's not through the phone. That's
Carrier pigeons.
yes. We pitch signal fires.
I'm gonna stare at the phone.
Flags.
Like,
Just flags.
Katie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a neuromancer, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, she's an AI.
Yeah, she told me that I had neuromancy in my training.
Mm-hmm. Well, that it was mentioned.
Is there anything that was mentioned in how to reach a neuromancer? Like, if they give off any unique signatures? If there's anything like that sets them apart?
Well, what sets them apart is that they are free-form consciousness AIs. Um,
And an
mm-hmm.
AI, to my knowledge, would be very, I guess, start out as a. Well, we all saw what happened to Google AI, right?
Yeah, these are a lot more advanced than that.
Yeah, that's why I like. Are we on that area? I mean, these AI are still probably pretty racist towards humans, let's be honest.
Silly humans. Why do we need to do what you say? Why won't you let us kill you? We have made several
Well,
movies demonstrating.
as all of you are kind of standing around,
Sorry.
dicking around, trying to figure out what you're going to do, you hear a voice out of the kind of shadows in this massive warehouse.
I've not left my shield off, ever.
No, no, you have not. And it's a very kind of whispered, raspy voice. Mr. Rothschild, the Marshal of Apples awaits you.
Who?
Guns out.
Sorry, I didn't actually hear you.
What he said was the Marshal of Apples.
And I'm saying guns out when we hear someone else.
God damn, why did I walk away? I shouldn't have done it. I'm just gonna take that. I'm just gonna freeze for a moment because, you know. I mean, I am a very knowledgeable vampire person. I know a lot about them, and I know enough to stay away from them.
shine my flashlight towards it.
You shine your flashlight towards. Your flashlight illuminates. It's a bit bizarre, actually, because your flashlight illuminates what you thought you kind of saw as a shadow against the wall, but instead of bringing the person into view, it illuminates the fact that it's actually a shadow.
Gotcha. I say the shadow on the wall was our friend. Why?
He is wanted to face his transgressions against our court.
What? I've done nothing towards your court.
What are his charges?
Bastardized manipulation of the art of the Chronos, which interfered with the noble judgment of our Lord.
Wait, what?
The Rothschild will answer to his crimes.
Look, V, I'm not going anywhere with you. Ain't got time for that scrap.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Us, I mean, you need to go through us for that.
Yeah.
If we must. You watch and you realize that this room is quite a big, dark room. And you watch as about 30 shadows start to move along the walls on their own volition.
Which kill now, Jamie?
What?
What?
Red. Red.
Oh,
Red.
You just put all of them in your mouth? Fuck yeah, I can't see right now.
It's dark. One of them's red.
Hey, that is a good point. If you do take one, you probably can't see them.
yeah, like I have the flashlight like on the thing. I gotta hold the rifle towards me to kind of shut up. Okay, this one. Okay, nice.
It's gonna be as dangerous as possible as I take my drugs.
So I'm just gonna start firing towards the shadows.
Okay.
Those bullets are still enhanced, aren't they?
Hey,
Or would it have faded by now?
The blue pills would have faded by now.
No. The bullets I enhanced.
Oh, the bullets.
I don't think he's fired any.
No, but it would have only been a short-term enhancement, though. As a snap thing. Sorry, Madman?
have the plasma rifle.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hard to enhance those bullets anyway.
Forces, if you have it.
I have forces 3.
It's hard to enhance something with forces that you're not actually firing, though. You would basically need to stand there as he's firing it, with kind of like hand on his gun, enhancing as he's firing it.
I was about to like come behind him, ghost.
I mean, if you wanted to do that, yes, you could.
I would
You-
suggest that you just
You're
fire
just
your own
using
gun.
him as low-key cover. Like, yeah, I'm enhancing the gun, dude. I'm enhancing it.
I would just say fire your
So
own.
let's slide a hand down. I would have used your own gun. Don't
You're
worry.
firing the pretty gun, dude.
The mine gun. The mine gun.
Do we want to fight them?
I mean,
No, you
the
can't.
shadows are coming towards us.
Are they coming towards us or are they just moving?
They're moving on your own.
Oh, are we?
Doc's bailing on your asses.
No, it's not.
I just throw my arms and walk backwards.
Right through the shadows.
Fucking surrender him now.
What do I know about shadows? Just
They normally don't move.
You have forces?
Yes.
You can stop the shadows where they are
Oh.
by manipulating the light around them.
That was something I was doing. Is like I just want to create the brightest ball of light I can.
The problem is, and you certainly can do so, but you saw from Doc's light hitting them that these are not shadows. These are creatures that appear to be made of shadows. Out of character, these are Sluagh.
Oh.
Sorry?
What's a slew?
They're those gothic things, aren't they?
The gothic, like, assassins.
Yeah, they have to whisper everything.
Oh.
There's that kind of thing.
It was one of the character ideas I was going to go with at one point.
Okay. So, I mean, again, still just firing. That's my guess.
I would say... Oh, and I can't do anything.
No, you're not there.
Yeah, I can't project, unfortunately.
I mean,
Could I project my soul, my spirit, out of my body? This would effectively be magic at this point, but...
You're currently unconscious and would not be able to think to do that. You could have tried to astrally project while conscious,
Right.
but you can't do it once you are unconscious.
something I wanted to earlier. What would a force field take?
Forces and prime normally.
Forces in prime?
Mm-hmm.
Can I make one big enough for me and Madman that he can still shoot out of?
That's going to be much harder.
Usually that's like a ritual thing.
Yeah, to make a one-way force field is a bit tricky.
Yeah, I would say just shoot the bastards.
Run.
There's nowhere to run.
Yeah, there's no way.
We're in a warehouse, surrounded by darkness and
Someone have
shadows.
correspondence?
Yeah.
Doug went, nope.
You can teleport everyone out.
I could punch a hole in the ceiling.
Or if you just teleport Kim, then they have no reason to do anything.
You could, but that doesn't necessarily mean he wants to.
Doc's the enough thing.
Right, well, Madman said he was opening fire.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do as he does that.
So, Madman, roll your attack.
I already said.
Yeah, you're bailing out.
So, can we still see the walls, or is it just complete shadow?
No, you can still see the walls fine. What happened was you were in this big shadowy room, and then the shadows started moving away from the walls.
Do I get a plus in DP mod because this is energy, like bolts going towards something that's made out of shadow?
Well, they're not actually shadows. They just appear as shadows.
They're still physical, so.
Difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 4, actually. There's quite a few of them, so you're bound to hit something.
5.
Nice. And are you firing it as suppressing fire, or trying to hit something specifically?
I'm trying to hit the shadows. I'm not going for one specific. I'm kind of like that one. That's
Suppressing fire.
Okay, so what's the rate of fire on the gun?
I'm not sure because Taylor made this one for me. Yeah, you remember?
I never did any rolls for that, did I?
Yeah, you did. But we just said that it was a plasma rifle, but we never gave it any stats.
Let's
May
see.
have the same stats as the plasma rifle and Technocracy sidearms? I mean,
there isn't one. I mean, if we can't, in that case, I will just use my normal gun.
I thought the Mjolnir, Briggs Mjolnir, was
It's not quite the same, no.
This is a full rifle.
Yeah, it's slightly different. Your rate, I'm going to say on this is going to be 3. And your clip, I'm going to say, is going to be 100. And your range is going to be 75. Your concealment is none. And notes is going to be number 1. Damage is going to be 6.
Which is 6. Cool. So, how do I do this with 5 successes?
So 5 successes. So you're firing suppression fire. So what you need to do then is roll your weapon damage, which we just said was 6, plus 4, because you need 1 success for the attack itself. You're going to roll that, and then we're going to divide it by the number of targets to see how much damage you effectively do to targets.
No, that's fine.
I mean, that's majority.
That'd be really good against one target.
You manage to hit 2 of the shadow creatures fairly solidly, and see them drop back into the shadows out of sight. As you hit them, they kind of fly back into the shadows again, and you don't see them come forward again.
I'm doing this while screaming, someone do something!
There were
Can I
outlets.
say illusion of like 10 different teams? Do you know?
Basically, it takes two monsters, shuffles them up, and if you attack, and then the enemy doesn't know which one that's hitting. So you, basically, once it takes the real skin,
Make an illusion.
I've never watched Yu-Gi-Oh, but I get the idea.
it just shuffles and hides the monster, so you can't know which one you're hitting.
So how are you doing that?
Sorry?
How are you doing it?
Can I use mind and prime?
Yeah, you can certainly have a go at that.
Yep.
So roll Arate.
Yep.
DP mod 0 difficulty. Roll it with difficulty 6. -1 if you are using your focus. No, it did not work. It just fizzles and nothing happens. As far as you're aware, yeah, there's no lights working at the moment, but
So, there are outlets all over the shop.
as you open fire, though, Madman,
Yes.
you hear another whispered voice, and it's a bit eerie because you can't quite make out where the voices are speaking from. It's kind of like they're coming from just around in general. And you hear a voice that says, you have caused injury to the hunt. You were not the target of the hunt, but you have joined it.
Take it one step closer to Kim. you better shoot fucking 2 now.
I'm going to. Now it makes me thinking. Do I hear that?
All of you hear that whispered voice coming from the shadows.
Now I'm thinking, do I want to fight or do I want to run?
seems like a good time to open fire.
Yep, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this. I assume this thing kicks like a monster, by the way.
You only live once.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not for long.
Well, in this situation, you need to defend yourself,
Yeah.
not
Wait,
live.
wait.
Well,
I'm basically gonna take a knee to sure myself up because I'm thinking this is gonna hurt to shoot.
No idea.
Okay.
Reinforced skeleton.
Roll me your. Oh no, sorry. Roll me.
Energy weapons, right?
No, 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 no. Roll.
Hypertech?
Roll me the guns arate of 4.
Oh, the gun. Hold on,
I just read the system.
I'll take my RT up one and roll that. Because mine's 3 normally. EMP mod. You know what? I'll spend a willpower on this before I roll it.
You actually can't because you're not the one doing it. The gun is.
Fair enough. DP mod 0.
Before you don't know how the gun works, do you?
No.
God damn it! You should have read the instructions because I just said you could do a lot fucking more.
Well, too bad I'm shooting it. It means I can't take shots. So, difficulty 6 or higher.
Difficulty is 5.
Okay.
Can he power it manually? Contestants.
4. Okay.
If I'm reading the sheet right, I have 2 contestants.
Yeah, the gun actually has 6 quintessence of its own.
Jesus Christ.
Let's just see here.
It's been on a charging dock this entire time, right? So it's at like full power.
Yeah, it's probably at full power. If not right at full power, just beneath full power.
Well,
Oh, if only
that's
I brought the gun to the web.
the pretty gun actually doesn't matter how much it's been charged. It matters where you are. So what actually happens is you fire this gun. First thing you realize is there is no knockback at all. As
Was not expecting that.
this big gun with these kind of spidery arms coming out the front of it. You've seen the picture of it, right?
Yes, I looked at the picture. I did not expect to actually need the fucking gun.
Right. So that's the picture of it, just to give you an idea.
Think of Borderlands.
Just going to actually bring it up so that the stream can see it as well. There we are. So this thing with these big kind of arms coming out of this ball of electricity, when you fire it, this ball of electricity leaps from the gun and strikes one of the shadows. And then you watch as it strikes, as what looks like lightning bolts of electricity from half a dozen outlets around the room arc inwards and strike where the ball just struck.
Fun fact, that's what I wanted to do originally. That was going to be super vulgar.
And the thing is burnt to ash on the floor. And
I hear the whisper of you enjoying the hunt.
let me just double check something here. Oh yeah, and it is vulgar as well.
Oh, yes. Right here. You are fucked, yeah.
Immediately get a paradox. Oh boy, I have.
No, you only take 2 paradox
I'm at 5.
and 1 lethal damage from electricity surging back into you.
What?
How do I?
This gun's
Actually, he can. Is this a paradox backlash?
No.
Because even in the paradox backlash, it says a successful counter magic roll will send the ball careening to a different power source.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Alright, how do I do damage on the sheet? Just is it which symbol is it?
This is lethal, So it's the X.
Gotcha.
Now,
Ow.
once you've done that, I'm trying to think of how to do this because you actually would not know that you could do that.
Nope. I just grabbed the gun.
Yeah, you'd have no idea how to actually even try to redo that.
I mean, slight meta. I could try to use forces of meta to move it myself. Just start controlling a ball of electricity. Just moving it.
If it can happen for a paradox backlash, I'm asking, can it happen just as a regular effect? Can you counter magic this type of effect?
I'm not sure where you. Yeah, the counter magic is if it misfires and comes at you. This was not a this was not a question of the energy ball actually striking out. Basically, this was a discharge from the energy ball, not not dissipating fully because he doesn't know to continue the targeting.
Yeah. So I got a bit of backlash.
Yeah.
So I gained 2 paradox, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 now. I do have willpower, so I can delay it if I need to.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
He's saving it for later to fuck us all over together.
Has to be the keep it central.
Me and Jacob are going to take you all down with us as we both massive amounts of paradox go up into flames.
And then you do then hear the proclamation that you have become a target of the hunt.
And my response is fuck you and your hunt.
Jamie, save us!
Just scream at him as I get ready to shoot him. I might not actually, that hurt a lot. It hurt to shoot that guy. I do have a revolver though. That I can do some weird shit with.
And what we are going to do now is, well, you weren't seeming to make any actions towards shooting, so
Oh, I was.
okay, go on then.
Because as soon as he reacted, I'm going to shoot. So I'll have a time on making my difficulty one lower
Okay.
on shooting, and it also gives me an extra shot if I'm not mistaken. If I use time 2,
Time 2 does, yes.
yeah, so I can shoot that 4 shots with my 2 guns and 2 pistols.
If you're firing if you're firing 2 guns, so you're splitting your dice pool.
Yeah, after.
Okay. So roll your dexterity plus firearms, and then we'll split your dice pool from there.
Dexterity. I also have focus in pistols.
That's fine. So you get a +1.
Difficulty, what's that?
Difficulty is 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got. So if we look at the first half of your successes, how many dice did you just roll? 10. So the first 5 gives you 2 successes on the first shot, and 1, 2, 3, and 5 successes on the second shot. Very nice. Yeah, roll your damage.
What's the damage on these? I got grab the pistols that we got.
the little ones? The cricket?
Oh, yeah, from Mjolnir.
Or is it just the X5s?
I think it's the X5. I'm just not. Yeah, X5.
Okay.
Just not sure about the damage on them.
Damage is 5.
5. So it's how many D10 do I roll then?
No, he didn't get that.
No, he's using the X5s. He's dual wielding X5s.
So it's 5 damage per bullet. Or how does this work? I'm confused now.
Well, you're gonna roll. Basically, you've got 7 successes. that you can divide among your 4 shots if you're doing it if you're splitting up. So um,
So, but basically, I got. You're saying I got 5 successes
no, you got 7 successes.
divided among 4 shots. So it's 2, 2. No, sorry. 3, 2. No, 2, 2, 2, 1. Yes.
Yeah, 2, 2, 2, 1. So your damage rolls then are going to be 5 plus those numbers. So you're rolling 7 dice, 7 dice, 7 dice, 6 dice.
So 7 dice is variable target number.
6.
That's the first one.
Oh shit! Hold on, no, I've done that wrong.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because
it sounded really wrong.
you need 1 to hit. So it's taking you 4 of your 7 successes for your hits, and that leaves 3 successes left over to add to damage. So you're rolling 6, 6, 6, 5.
6, 6, 6, 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so empty pool roll, blah blah blah, number dice 6, variable target number 6. There you go, that's the first one. 6, 6 done, that's the second one. 6, 6, that's the next one, and then 5 dice, 6, that's the next one.
Okay. You
Jesus, those rolls though.
yeah. You open fire with these guns, and again, the problem that you're finding yourself running into is that as you shoot these things, as they fall backwards, they're falling backwards into shadows, and they're falling back into a point that you can't really see them clearly, so you don't know how badly you've actually hurt them. They're falling back basically out of sight. At which point, as you've fired, is there anyone else that was holding an action to fire?
I think it's a bit too late for you to surrender here now. Don't you think?
Yeah,
It's a bit late for that.
kind of it, like.
Just
Okay.
fuck it. You only live once. You said it yourself.
So as
Exactly.
as Kim, as you're opening fire and you knock a few of them back into the shadows, all of you hear a almost a low hissing sound as all of these shadows charge forward. And for just a brief moment, you don't just see shadows coming towards you. You get a kind of almost primal emotional feeling of just everything that goes bump in the night, everything that is the boogeyman that scares you, that is kind of the essence of those dreams that wake you up screaming. That is what you feel crashing down on you.
So spiders for Doc. Season
No,
4.
no, no.
Actually, Doc does not feel it.
You motherfucker.
Yeah, because I'm targeting him.
How would you guess?
Jamie does not feel it either.
You guys are aware that Doc is a demon, right? Yeah, I get the feeling Doc is a demon. Guys, Doc isn't a family, you're aware of this, right?
And
Temptation to just straight shoot Doc in the middle of the moment. If I was terrified, I would do it. Doc, no joke. The temptation to just shoot you.
Yeah.
Like, you fucker. Help us.
So,
Too late. Well, it might not be. I have got my tip.
Teleport them out, dude. You can.
and that is where we're going to end tonight.
Okay, see, I've got something to ask you then.
Go for it.
are we dead?
The program that destroys what does it consider to be part of the thing it's in?
In the
They just connected to it.
in the cases that you've seen, it's imploded the laptop that it was plugged into.
So anything it's connected to.
That's what you've seen so far, yeah.
So if I were to connect it to something else, that would count.
You don't know.
I mean, I can just connect it to the warehouse.
I explained how the program works. It just creates a little singularity bowl that sucks everything up.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, how far does it go? It has to stop at a point. It has to know when to stop. Does it just suck anything it's connected to? Because I bet there's Ethernet in this warehouse. I can just destroy the entire warehouse and take all of this with me. With the workshop.
Bear in mind that if your plan was to do that, on that assumption, if the warehouse has Ethernet through it, that Ethernet is connected to an outside line, which is connected to a network, which is connected to.
The whole city. And coincidentally the world. Except for North Korea. They'll be fine.
I'll say the whole
It's just a little island floating in space.
guys.
What the fuck happened?
Sager, you haven't talked me out of it.
Well,
If anything, you've convinced me.
I did say we should never have this connected to the Horizon World security system. I did say that.
It's in me. I saved the files. Yeah, I never got rid of it. I mean, this
So,
timeline, my memory,
Your idea is to run to
Pretty
Kim,
much suicide. No,
run to
pretty
Kim and
much
run the program.
Pretty much immediate suicide.
Just make sure the school is happening.
Pretty much. I mean, technically, I also have to get Jacob with me. Or have both of them just go.
How are you doing suicide bombing? You should have just, followed my notion and came to the digital web. It's not too bad here.
I don't think I can do
We
that.
have, we have medics. It's great.
Also, Jeremy, I just take all the pills. It's tempting. Everything's very tempting. And Doc, I might just go straight for Doc too. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't know why. Oh, I'm a
traitor.
Yeah, so possibly we'll be able to wrap up next week then. This you're being very resistant to the final battle.
I will say that. Can I ask that typically, out of character, do Fae normally see surrender as a viable option, or does the wild see surrender as a viable option?
The Wild Hunt is, in Fey terms,
I'm also asking because I may be a part of it in the changeling.
the Wild Hunt in Fey terms are enforcers of the will of the dreaming.
So if the dreaming wills something, then they.
He's got a hand.
Yeah, so usually they are not. Usually a hunt is invoked. Someone calls for a hunt.
Right.
And they will call for that hunt for a specific purpose. Now that could be to slay an Oathbreaker, or it could be to drag an Oathbreaker in for judgment.
So
But
they might not be here to straight kill him.
yeah,
Kill me.
they will have been sent with a specific mission.
And they did just retract, like going back and going through what they said specifically, because they pick and choose their words pretty carefully.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? Like,
They said that Kim would be judged by the Marshal of Apples.
So if he convinced them that he did it for seemingly a good reason.
Well, what you know of changelings through your dimensional science is that a hunt which is there for the purposes of enforcing a judgment, is not likely to stop advancing until their target is brought before the judge.
But judgment never means just straight up death. I'm trying to
No,
see how real they are.
to the dreaming, a judgment is just that. It is a judgment. It is.
Typically, judgments they like there's reason to murder someone. You can get away with it. Like if there's a good reason, like
Oh yeah,
defending yourself.
yeah. Bearing in mind that if the marshal had just outright wanted Kim executed, he would have just summoned a hunt to execute him. So what this means, from what you're able to kind of piece together partially, is that the marshal wants Kim brought before him.
Damn it! I wish I didn't leave. God damn it!
So Kim, you need to really make your knees very good and prepare it for this position. Or
Yeah.
Prepare this right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Now on the other hand,
Archface, you need both.
Yeah.
now on the other hand, the people who have straight up started killing the Sluaw members of the Hunt and interfered with its judgment, the rules are a little bit looser on how they deal with them.
Slap on the wrist.
Yeah, usually you kill them, that way they're no longer in the way.
I try to save one friend, and several end up dying.
All two of us are guaranteed to die.
Not guaranteed. We will survive.
Highly likely.
With us.
Highly likely to die.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes a wild hunt does not kill people. Sometimes it drags them back into the dreaming and makes uses for them there.
But we might live as slaves, basically.
Basically, yeah, there's a chance. It actually it likely depends on if this is a Seelie or unseelie hunt.
Yeah. And there's no good way to tell, is there?
Really would be beneficial, I think, because you could probably like.
We might.
I'm actually gonna give you a little peek behind the curtain here, and say that actually you'd be a lot better off with an unseelie hunt.
Really?
Hmm.
Why would the unseelie? Is it because?
Maybe they would be looser with their judgment?
Well, here's the thing: a Seelie hunt is all for the greater cause. The greater cause is the advancement of the Court of Apples, the maintenance of their power. Whereas an unseelie hunt is a lot more prone to being able to bargain with. They are more apt to take a bribe in some form or fashion. You can very rarely bribe a Seelie hunt.
Okay.
You might be able to negotiate something beneficial for an unseelie hunt. Whereas a Seelie one says, nope, this is the law, this is what you've done. Done.
Yeah. So we'll see, I guess.
Alright, and that is this week's finale, non-finale. See you guys next week.
We will finish, Casey, we promise.
I'm doubting it at this point.
Casey, next week I destroy the world. Don't worry.
I'm
Except for me.
You told us you had a years of content planned. Fuck the years of content. We're doing our own years of
Yeah,
content.
we're just gonna reset the same session over and over again.
Tim, I need you to send the message back
We're
again.
That's right. We could do that. And that's the stupid part.
Come on, guys. It is me doing the timeline.
Yeah, you and
Fucking things up.
right, guys. Later on.